Hello, this is Spartan Commander, and this is the 203rd Rome Total War Brotherhood game that I've put onto YouTube. This battle was supplied by Brotherhood member TR, also known as Minor Walker, and this battle was fought approximately 2 years ago. Okay, the first team consists of Wolves member Parker. He still does play RTW, but he's not on very often these days. But Parker's a really good RTW player, and it'll be interesting to see how well he does in this battle. And then we have Brotherhood member TR, as I said, the Brotherhood member that supplied this battle, and he also calls himself Minor Walker, and he has bought the Rome SBQR faction. And then we have Brotherhood member Racer X, who has bought the Rome Bruto faction. I'd just like to draw your attention to one of the units he's got in his army, and that's the peasants. Now if you notice, he's put this peasant unit in open order, mingled in with his pilot shield units. Now that's a nice little move, that, because those peasants will soak up a lot of enemy pilers, actually then stopping his more expensive units in that pilot shield suffering casualties. So putting that peasant unit in open order there is a pretty good move. And then their last team member is Brotherhood member Killer B, who has bought the Rome Bruto faction. Now if you notice there, he's got an unusual formation there with one pilot shield unit in the front. I think he's got something like 16 infantry and 1 archer unit, but also I'd like to draw your attention to, he's only got 3 cavalry units. Now this is unusual for the Brotherhood, a Brotherhood member to only bring 3 cavalry units, so it'll be interesting to see how well his army does with just that restricted amount of cavalry. So there's TR's team there, looks pretty good to me, should be a great one for you to watch. At this stage of the battle, I thought we'd have a look at Brotherhood member TR's army here. Now if you notice, he also has only bought 3 cavalry units to this battle, so I think he's got an archer unit as well. So with Killer B and TR only bringing 3 cavalry units each, I think this should be an interesting one to see if that amount of infantry makes up for the lack of cavalry. Let's see what happens. And here is the other team. We have Heaven's member Admiral Douchebag. A lot of RTW players will remember Admiral, a very good tactical player. You know, whenever you face Admiral, you always knew you were in for a battle. As I say, he's a very good tactical player, quite aggressive as well. So it'll be interesting to see how well he does in this battle. As I say, this battle was fought approximately 2 years ago, and he has bought the Rome Giulio faction. And then we have Heaven's Greco, who has also bought the Rome Giulio faction. And then we have Brotherhood member Mystique, who's also bought the Rome Giulio faction. And then the last member is Brotherhood member Conan. As you may well know by now, that Conan was a co-founder of the Brotherhood all the way back in January 2005. Just like to draw your attention to his formation there. Looks pretty, I've seen him use his formation before, and this is a pretty tough formation to break down. Looks pretty good to me. But also if you notice, he's only bought 3 cavalry units, but I think he's actually got 17 infantry, no archers there, and 3 cavalry units. So it'll be interesting to see what happens. So there's the teams there, getting ready for this battle, and I think it's going to be an epic one for you to watch. At this very early stage of the battle, I thought I'd just show you the general disposition of the teams here. You can see an all-Roman battle here, and as you can see there, large armies facing up to each other, and it should be, as I said earlier, a great one for you to watch. Very tactical. I would think, noticing that there's not as many cavalry as there sometimes is on the battlefield, there'd be a lot of good tactical infantry moves as well. As you can see here on TR's team's left flank, Killer B is facing Admiral, Heaven's Admiral. And if you notice here, can you see the Rome Julii cavalry attacking a lone SBQR unit there? And bang, as that cavalry goes in. I wouldn't think that unit be able to note. That unit didn't last that long there. But if you notice that TR is throwing pilers into those cavalry units there as well, causing them a lot of casualties there. So maybe taking out that isolated SBQR unit cost them quite a bit of cavalry there. As I said, here's a general disposition on the battlefield of the teams. As you can see, several units are in Testudo. There are newer players to RTW. That's what the Testudo formation is. If you notice, there's great protection for the troops inside those shields there. And there's Testudo actually moving there. Sometimes people, when they're fighting pike units, they use Testudo and they kind of try and take this Testudo formation through the pikes, as they've got, as you can see, great protection for the troops there. And here on TR's team's right flank here, you can see that Brotherhood member Conan is doing a right flanking action here. And if you notice that Wolves Parker now is responding to that by moving back, but still facing Conan's advancing infantry. And here in the right centre, you can see that TR is being extremely aggressive there with his infantry and cavalry as he's attacking the enemy Julii units that were in front of him there. You can see some Julii cavalry from his allies were looking like they were going to charge in there, but then decided to pull back. Let's say here on the right flank, you can see Conan still being aggressive with his right flank in action. And if you notice, Parker is now counter-attacking with his cavalry. 6 units of Praetorian cavalry, and bang, as that charges into the front flank of Conan's Julii army there. That was a nice little hit by Parker's cavalry. If you notice, like we've talked about in other battle videos as well, he charged in, got the full cavalry charge bonus, did the damage that he wanted to, and then pulled his cavalry back. As we spoke about earlier, Conan's only got 3 cavalry units, but he has got 17 infantry units. So that could make a difference on this right flank. I think this is where the action seems to be kicking off here on this right flank. So I think possibly looking at the position of the armies here on this right flank, this could be a pivotal part of the battlefield here. I think possibly whoever wins on this right flank would go on to win the battle. And at the moment, with Conan's aggressive tactics here, I'm seeing a lot of the Scipio units starting to... Right, let's just pause again for us to take stock of what's actually happening. As I said, Conan's aggressively attacking on this right flank, forcing Parker to turn and move back a little bit there, disrupting TR's team's battle line. And then we move to the right centre. You can see that TR there and his SBQR units are facing Mystique's Julii army there. And then as we move further up the battlefield, the left centre and the left flank there are not engaged yet. But as we see in other battle videos, what seems quiet on one part of the battlefield could all of a sudden erupt into a lot of action. So we'll have to see what happens as the battle continues. But as I said, back to this right flank here with Conan's incredibly aggressive tactics here. He seems to be making a lot of inroads into this right flank at this time. If you notice, Parker's making the most of his cavalry advantage on this right flank by charging his cavalry in, helping to relieve the pressure on his infantry. As you can see here, Admiral has brought some of his cavalry over here to help his teammate on this right centre to attack TR's SBQR army there. And if you notice, Mystique is also bringing some of her units over to this right flank as well to support Conan's attack. Right, if you notice here, can you see Conan's infantry now are really attacking aggressively. He's put every unit into attack now. with Mystique bringing over 6 infantry units as well to assist. Can you see some of the Scipio units are starting to rout here? Incredibly aggressive strategy and tactics here by Conan on this right flank. But it'll be interesting to see. I was just thinking if Conan maybe had a few more cavalry, instead of having 6, maybe instead of 3, maybe he might have been able to charge through those Scipio lines and break them. If you notice here, Parker has halved his cavalry. He's charged one lot of 3 into the front, and he's brought the other 3 into the flank of Conan's army there. Nice little tactical cavalry move there by Parker. And if you notice now, there's a lot of pressure on Conan's attacking army now at this stage, with Parker's 6 cavalry units. If you notice, once again, charged those cavalry units in, did the damage he wanted to, pulled them back again. It wouldn't surprise me if he takes these 3 on the right flank round behind Conan's infantry. Remember what we've talked about in other battle videos, the rear and the flank of the units are the weakest, so it wouldn't surprise me if Parker charges cavalry in again. Now if he charges cavalry in from the front as well, right, okay, can you see Parker's charging 3 units in from the front and 3 from the back? Almost a cav sandwich attack here. Can you see that Conan's Julii infantry are now pinned? Right, let's just pause the game for a second, take stock of exactly what's happened. As I say, Parker's charged his cavalry units in, 3 from the front, 3 from the back, trying to sandwich Conan's Julii infantry there, and it's done a very good job of that. Nice little move there. As I say, we tend to call that the cav sandwich attack there, coming in from the front and the rear. So nice tactical move there by Parker, and that has routed several of Conan's units there. Meanwhile, up onto the left, up to the right centre here, you can see that Brotherhood member TR is battling against the, I think, Mystique's Julii army in front. From there, if you notice that Racer X and Killer B have brought units over to these very critical parts of the battlefield there, but you can still see there's loads of Julii units there at the back, kind of fresh units just waiting to go into the fray there. It looks quite formidable with those units out there, but if you notice over on the left flank there, you can see that Killer B has still got most of his army there. He's moved some units over to assist his allies there, but he's still got his army mostly intact and all fresh units. But as I say, on this right flank, I think this could be pivotal. Whoever wins on this right flank could go on to win the battle there. And if you remember how aggressive Conan was attacking with his forces there, well, I think Parker counter-attacking with his cavalry and with allied support here, looks like he might be slightly turning the tide here on this right flank. I noticed that Killer B has sent some units over all the way from the left flank over to this right flank, and as well as Racer X has sent units over as well. TR is assisting with his cavalry. I think everybody kind of sees that this right flank is maybe pivotal to, as I said earlier, to the actual battle. So there's lots of reinforcements being sent in by both teams here on this right flank. As you can see, Parker's got some very battle damaged units still left there. Well, after the aggressive attack that Conan did on him, I'm not surprised that he's only got very battle damaged units left. But there's still, TR's team still attacking what's left of Conan's army there on this right flank. As I say, Mystique has sent some units over to help Conan there. And everywhere you look on the battlefield now, there's attacking and counter-attacking and some great tactical moves being made here on the battlefield. I say back over here to the right flank here, you can see Mystique and Conan have both got units there still fighting on this right flank. There's still some of Parker's Scipio units starting to rout, but if you notice, there's a bit of a gap here between the Julii armies. And if you notice that Killer B has taken one of his a couple of his Brutii units through that gap, and Parker's got a unit there as well, isolating the Julii units on this right flank. But if you notice, there's a nice little cavalry hit there by the Julii team there as they charge in with that cavalry, and bang as that cavalry hits. But if you notice there, can you see that a lot of the Julii units are starting to rout, and a lot of those units have been fighting for a long time, so they're tired, their morale will be low, and once units around them start to rout, it then produces kind of a chain rout. And if you notice there, a heck of a lot of the Julii units routed there.
Now we will see if his men can hold in the face of this calamity.
As you can see, Admiral charging another cavalry attack there, probably aimed at some tired SBQR units on the front end of the fighting. Let's just pause again for a second to take stock of exactly what's happened. After Conan's aggressive attack on this right flank here, it seems that most of Conan's army has now been destroyed. And that was destroyed by really great teamwork by TR's team there. There was units brought over from all his teammates there to help out on this right flank. So really well done to them. And really well done to Parker for holding so well. But as you can see now, Admiral and Mystique have got units over there on their left flank to try and prop up that flank a bit. As you can see here, there's a little bit of a gap between the Julii units. Maybe TR's team might try and take some infantry units through that to isolate, if you like, both sides of the Julii army. But if you look at the Julii units here in this area, can you see how thick they are? That is a massive amount of Julii infantry. Most of them still fresh or warmed up there in that area. So there's still a lot of fighting to be done in that centre area there. But if you notice that Killer has also got a lot of units that are fresh or maybe just warmed up, stood behind the battle, ready to throw in when necessary. So there's a general overview of the battle at this time. Be interesting to see what happens next. Okay, so they're just taking care of the last couple of Julii units that are here over on the right flank. And once they finish them off, I would think then that TR's team would then try and push through those Julii units that have been put there to try and hold them. But as you can see, there's a heck of a lot of Julii infantry units up into the centre and left centre as well there. Here's a close-up of the Julii and Scipii units fighting there. Still pilers being thrown in. Still units with pilers left, even at this stage of the battle. If you notice though that both Mystique and Admiral have got their generals in the thick of the fighting there. And remember, if those generals are killed, then the morale of all their troops will drop. So I always think that putting your general kind of in the firing line can be a bit of a gamble kind of thing. But if you look at that massive amount of Julii units they're attacking in the centre left and centre right, they could break through there at any time. And if you notice that Killer B here has got units over on the left flank, they're still fighting some of the Julii units that are there. But if you see, there's a massive load of fresh or just warmed up Julii infantry there pushing against the Rome Brutii units there. Remember, the one team is completely red, the Julii infantry, that's Conan's team there, and TR's team are the blue, the purple and the green. Just so you can get a glance at the battlefield and see what the disposition of the armies are there, and the teams are. Back over to this right flank, to TR's right flank here, you can see that TR's allies there are attacking the Julii units there. As I said, they would like to kill the general there of Mystique's general if they could, as they know that will lower the morale of her army there. So as I say, putting your general actually in the main battle line is something that you tend to do at the last part of the battle, because as I say, you don't really want to lose your general too early in the battle, or not at all really, but not too early, because it can drop the morale of your troops a lot. As you can see here, there's some battle-damaged Brutii cavalry gone into the back of those tired, engaged Julii infantry, and have made them rout there. Even though those Brutii cavalry units are extremely battle-damaged there, the impact of that charge into those tired Julii troops just made the difference there to make them rout. If you notice here, Killer B is taking some of his units around the flank of the enemy Julii units there. Remember, in RTW, it's not all about attacking the front all the time. It's what you really try and do is try and pin the enemy at the front and then move units around the flank, or preferably the rear of those pinned troops. So as you can see here, Killer B is pinning the Julii infantry with his own infantry, as well as Racer X, and then he's moving units round to the flank there. So you notice now a lot of the Julii units are starting to rout now with the pressure of the attack of the Brutii, the SBQR troops there. as the Julii troops start to rout. If you notice that the Brutii generals are pushing their infantry forward harder, attacking harder, knowing that they're kind of pushing at an open door. And it wouldn't surprise me if a lot of those Julii units just started to chain rout all of a sudden there, with the pressure of the attack that the Brutii infantry are putting on them there. Remember, those Julii, a lot of those Julii units will be tired now. If you notice, there are some Julii units at the back of the battle that are now rallying and being sent over to that right flank again.
Fear makes a home in our enemies' hearts.
But if you notice, Greco's general has just been killed, so the morale of his troops will start to drop here. Right, if you notice, a lot of the rallied Julii infantry are being sent over to this right flank here. But as those units have already routed, their morale will be extremely low. So if any pressure is put on them, then they're more susceptible to actually routing. Right, there's Mystique's general, as he's the last man left in the general unit now. And he's still fighting on. He's still giving morale to his troops until he is actually killed.
The gods be praised. The enemy army is in.
And there, if you notice now, the pressure of
from the battlefield.
The Brutii and SBQR attack there has now caused a bit of a chain rout of the Julii infantry there. So it looks like TR's team has gone on to win this battle there. I say, I think that was kind of an epic 4v4 large Rome versus Rome battle there. It was a really great battle to watch there. As you can see, the intensity of the fighting here, you can see the piles of dead. If you notice, these archers have run out of arrows now, so they pull out their small daggers or knives where they can be alt attacked and charge into the enemy with those knives there. Let's say you can see how intense the fighting was from flank to flank in this battle. And I hope you enjoyed it. Right, I'd just like to say, really well done to everybody in the game there. Some really good tactical moves, some really great cavalry hits, and some really aggressive play there by everybody. So really well done to everybody in the game there. I'd just like to draw your attention to Conan's team's kills. Can you see that 3 of the teammates of Conan's team there have actually got higher kills than 3 of the team in TR's team there? So you might think that would cause them to win, but if you look at the massive kills that Killer B's got there, it just goes to show how intense the battle was round where Killer B was. So it's a nice lot of kills there for Killer, and I think as you can see, they're getting that many kills probably gave them the advantage in the close victory there. I'd just like to say, if you enjoyed this battle and other Brotherhood battles, and please subscribe to our channel. It's always nice to get new subscribers to our channel, and you will be automatically informed when the next battle is ready to watch. So, as I say, hope you enjoyed it. I'd just like to say, really well played to Conan, Mystique, Heaven's Greco, and Heaven's Admiral there. Really great aggressive attack there, and really well played to TR, Killer, Racer, and Parker. I saw some really great teamwork, some great support, especially on that right flank. Really well done, guys. Really well played to everybody in game. This is Spartan Commander saying, hope you enjoyed it. Bye for now.